Today, we're going to talk about the 2 levers that control your business. So the 2 levers that control your business. What do I mean by that? What I mean is there are 2 ways to get more cash into your business today, and you absolutely have to know them. Most entrepreneurs, at least in their first year, are incredibly stressed about how to make more money for their business or how to have more cash flow. If you don't know what cash flow is, it's the amount of cash that you have on hand that flows through your business that you can use for expenses, to get payroll, to launch new products. And most people are stressed because they have no idea how what they're doing is going to lead to more money. And what I found is when you know these levers, when you understand how to make your business function, when you understand if you pull one lever, more money will come in. And if you push the other lever, less money will go out, then you will be on your way to understanding how to maximize your business. Now let's take these one by one. The first of these levers is how do you make more money in your business? So as hard as this is to believe, when you start a business, you have no idea what's going to lead to revenue. I mean, you obviously know if you're a publishing company that selling books is going to make you more money, but you don't necessarily know how to get to the selling of books. You don't know where to focus your energy to make the most money. And this is where the first lever comes in, because this is really what you need to know and where you need to backtrack. And the only way that you can know what your metrics are to figure out how to get revenue is to do a bunch of stuff. So for us as a publishing company, we had to do a lot of store events. We had to go to a lot of cons. We had to do Amazon. We had to just do a whole bunch of stuff to get metrics of where we're making our money. We had to waste a lot of time. We had to waste a lot of effort. We had to waste a lot of money doing a lot of different web comics, to do a lot of different lines of business to figure out where our money was coming from. And it took about 6 months, and it was some of the most stressful 6 months of my life because I had no idea where the money was coming from or what I can do to make more money. But at the end of those 6 months, I had some metrics. I knew that the ways that we were making money as a business were twofold. When we went to live shows, we made more money. And when we did Kickstarters or launched new products, we made more money. That was where 90% of our money was coming from. And in the long term, we want to be in many other areas. We want to be able to make Amazon work and other distributors work and selling to retail stores work. But we found that our money came right now from going to live shows and launching new products. And every time we did that, our revenue spiked. And every time we had a new slate of projects, our revenue almost doubled. Now, once you understand all of these metrics, you can make this lever work for you. Let me give you a scenario. You own a car dealership, and you know that for every 100 people you talk to, 10 will walk in and 1 will become a client. You know these metrics from a lot of studies, from years of being in business. Every 100 people that you talk to will lead to 10 people walking in and 1 being a client. Now, if you need to double revenue or you need more cash flow, you can do one of 3 things. You can talk to 200 people, knowing that then 20 will walk in and 2 will become clients. If you don't want to do that, you can double the amount of people that walk in. So you can go from 100 people and have 20 people walk in, and then you get the same 2 clients. Or you can double the amount of people who become clients. You can talk to 100 people, get 10 to walk in, and get 2 clients out of it. But you can only do that once you understand the lever and once you understand all of the things that make your business function. And that means doing a whole bunch of different stuff that may or may not lead to revenue. It means going to new mixers. It means going to more shows. It means doing podcasts and doing blogs and putting stuff on Amazon. It means doing everything that you can, including ads, to find out how you can get more revenue and where your revenue comes from. And then once you have all of that, you can scale it. You understand the lever. You understand what you have to do to pull a lever and make more money. For us, It means either going to more shows or going to bigger shows or getting more people to buy at the shows that we have now. So for us, if we know that we have 1,000 people at a show and every time we have 1,000-person show, we sell 10 products, either we have to double the amount of those shows that we do, or we have to find shows that have 10,000 people or 2,000 people, whatever our revenue numbers want to be, or we can get more people to buy at those shows. Now, it's very hard to do more than one of these at a time. So in order to get your metrics right, you don't want to do huge shows and try and get more clients. You want to have one key metric that you're trying to improve. But you can't have that key metric until you understand your business. And when you have those key metrics and you understand that lever, then you can start adding other products or other lines of business. For instance, I've got into speaking this year. I've got into producing other people's comics this year. It's a thing that we're trying to do to raise more revenue at the times we're not at shows. Because when we're not at shows, which is roughly Monday to Thursday at least, we're making very little to no money because our Amazon profile is janky at best. We do almost no internet sales. So between Monday and Thursday, we're doing very, very little to move our business forward. And we know that, but we only know that because we did all of the revenue generating research and saw exactly where our company functioned and where it didn't function. You can improve things, but you have to know how it functions first. And that is the first lever. Understanding how your business works and how you make revenue so that when you need more revenue, you can just pull a lever and magically more revenue appears. So that's the first lever. That's the lever that most people think about when they think about business. But there's a second lever, which is equally as important, which is the lever that you can push up so that you spend less money. Now, I know that spending less money isn't the sexy thing to talk about in business, but it's equally as important as the lever that you can pull. And it's easier because you have data right now from your own life that you can look at. The other lever, the pull lever, you have a lot of data and metrics to back that up. But for the spending less money, you can do that today because you have bank accounts, you have credit card statements that go back years upon years upon years. So you can see where you can cut expenses today. For instance, for me, we're trying to cut $1,000 of expenses a month. We have a PMI on this house and 2 car payments and a couple of other miscellaneous big spend, big ticket items that we think we can save potentially $1,000 a month. Now, if I don't know my metrics, which I do, or I pull that lever and my money's not going to come for another month, because that does happen with shows. You can book a show and then it's not for a month out. The easiest way for me to go about making the most value in my time is to push the lever so we can spend less money. Now, this is not sexy. It's not something anybody wants to do. But cutting expenses is generally the easiest way to find extra money. You can't do it forever because eventually you'll be cut into the bone. But there are things that you can take out of your business right now or your expenses right now that will help free up money. If you need $500 to start a business, you could go find a part-time job. That might take weeks, months, depending on what the job market is where you live. Or you can look at your expenses and figure out what you can cut out monthly. And let's say you can only cut out $50 monthly. Well, in 10 months, you'll be able to start that business because you'll have $500 saved up. Or you can do a combination of both, which is the best case scenario. We're looking to increase our revenue by $1,000 a month and decrease expenses by $1,000 a month. That means total we'll have almost $25,000 of extra cash flow in my company every year. And while you can't spend less money forever, right? I mean, like we talked about already, eventually you'll be cut into the bone. Right now, at this moment, you can push that lever up pretty easily. And while you're doing the push, you can be pulling the other levers and seeing what works. So that by the time you have that extra $500, maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to pull that lever and make $500 extra dollars. And now you've freed up $1,000 more a month. Or now you can add that $500 back to your budget. No, for me personally, I very rarely buy anything that's not a business expense. I buy my friends' comics when they come on Kickstarter or when I see them at shows. We go out to dinner every once in a while. But generally, I'm not spending frivolously. I'm spending on business. You can make the case that the comic books that I buy are not necessarily business, but they are because they're research and I have to know what's out there in the marketplace. But I can push that lever and buy less at shows. I can buy less books. If I don't need all of the books, if I see that I have a ton of overstock, I don't necessarily have to buy all those books. There are things in my business that I can push that lever up, and then there are things that I can pull down. Some of the times they're interchangeable. So for instance, if I don't buy all of the books, or let's say I push that lever up and buy half of the books that I usually buy, I can't pull that lever as hard because I can only sell the amount of books that I have in stock. So those are the two levers in your business. The easiest one to do right now is to push up expenses, which is push that lever up and spend less money. And then over time, the one that's going to be easiest for you in the long run is pulling the lever. Because once you understand the metrics of your business, of how many people you need to talk to get clients, how many shows you need to go to, and where the best expenditure of your money is, you can pull that lever all day long. If you need 3 clients and each of those clients is $300 a month, and you know that you have to talk to 300 people in order to get to that 3 number, you can pull that lever until you hit 300 people, and boom, you've got an extra $900 a month. But most people only think about the pull. They don't think about the push. And right now for you, as you probably are a new creator, someone who doesn't have a lot of metrics in their business, I recommend pushing first and then pulling forever once you have all of those metrics down. Good luck pulling those levers. I'll talk to you next time.